Hi everyone. So obviously, as you can see by the title, this isn't going to be a video where I'm being funny and telling lots of jokes, because this is a topic that I've been too scared to speak on for over 18 years. I debated on whether or not I should even film this video today because I'm so afraid of everything that's going to happen after this video. And I just feel like I'll never be ready. There's never going to be a time where everything's going to fall into place and I should be addressing this. I feel like the only thing to do is to just go ahead first and say it. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, there's not going to be a moment where I'm 100% ready to say this. And if I don't take this chance, then it's never going to happen. And I feel like the only thing I can do is just let it be known while it's on my chest. But as you can see by the title, I am transgender. I want to preface this video by saying that I want to be straight up and say that this video is pretty much a cop-out, I feel. Because I know that there's going to be some people in my family who are very, very disappointed in me that I did not call them up and tell them, or I didn't say it to their faces. And I apologize. And I'm so sorry, and I know that this is not just going to affect me, but it will affect the rest of my family, and it's going to affect my friends. Because let's face it, being transgender isn't just something that can be swept under the rug. There are changes that have to be made to help that person feel comfortable. But at the same time, I have to do this for myself because I don't want to have to keep explaining myself. I don't want to have to keep stating that I am transgender. I just want to get it off my chest and let people watch this video and know, and I will put a lot of information in this video to help my family and my friends better understand where I am coming from. And I feel like I can do that here more comfortably in my own space than in front of somebody. But I also want to say that I have been myself for 18 years. This is the only thing that I've been hiding about myself. I've always been open about being into hair and being into makeup. You know, at the age, we'll get into it, but at the age of 5, I was putting towels on my head and running around the house. So I've never been one to hold back on who I am, and I feel like by doing this, I'm doing myself a disservice because I'm not being 100% myself. This video is the end of my first book in my life, and we're just about to make the sequel, and I'm so excited to be starting this. I want people to come with me, and I don't want to do this alone, so I really hope that people in my family can understand and accept me. And even if you don't understand what I'm doing, at least be able to still love me and treat me like the person that you've known for 18 years, because I'm still that same person. I just want to say that I didn't wake up one morning and decide to do this. I didn't wake up yesterday and tell myself, hey, I'm transgender. And I think that's something that I really need to address, because I think that nowadays it is so common for people to just become or pose as somebody who's trans just for fun, or just because they think it's cool. To me, that is very disrespectful, because I've been battling with myself for my whole life. I felt lost and I felt trapped in my body for 18 years. And it's no joke. And people can say that just because they looked in the mirror one day and they felt uncomfortable with themselves because they didn't like that their hair was long, so they felt like a boy. Being trans is so much more than just this outer appearance. It is something inside that really traumatically affects the way that you think of yourself. And it's not just one aspect of yourself. It isn't just because your hair is short and you want it to be long that you think you're a girl. Because every time I look at myself in the mirror, I will truly say that I sometimes feel disgusted with myself. Secondly, let's talk about my childhood and how I've really grown to know that I am transgender. When I was a child, very, very young, I've always felt like a girl. I've always been very, very feminine in my mannerisms, in the toys that I had, and I know that girls can play with Tonka trucks and boys can play with Barbies. That's not what I'm saying. It was so much more than that. There was a point where I even asked one of my family members, hey, when am I going to become a girl? Like, when am I going to be a girl? Because I was just so convinced that I was just, just going to turn into a girl. Like, I was born in the wrong body. And I would walk around with a towel on my head, high heels on, and I would dance in my house. And it was all good. Like, my family is very accepting of that. And I have to say, thank you so much. Because the sad reality is that not everybody has the same luck as me. There are people who are kicked out of their houses. There's people who are murdered because of being not only transgender but gay or feminine. As I grew older, there was a point in my life where I obviously knew that I was into guys, and I would say around middle school is when that really started to hit me. And I've still always kept this in the back of my head for obviously years and years and years, but being gay was the first step to becoming who I was. There was a point in time where I grew very depressed because, I had to keep up this facade of being this macho guy. I'd say around 8th grade and 9th grade was the climax of this point in my life where, I would cut my hair and I would pose like very masculine and I would wear masculine clothes. I was so scared of being seen as a girl. There was actually one video I made in 10th grade where I felt so disrespected because some girl at the Renaissance Festival said to her friend, I thought that was a girl at first. And I just went on this whole rant about how I felt so offended and how I'm clearly a guy. But if I'm being honest, it was just because I was so insecure about myself. Because I knew what I was, but I was too afraid to come to terms with it because I was so scared of the backlash. At the end of 9th grade, after I'm fed up with this facade because I felt like I was no longer being myself, I started experimenting with makeup, and obviously at first it was not good at all. But as time went on, I started to learn more and more, and I started to feel way more comfortable with myself. I would say that by 11th grade was when I finally figured out, I don't want to say by 11th grade is when I finally figured out that I was trans. Because I will say at around 8th grade was when I discovered Elena Genevieve, who was formerly known as another YouTuber during that time. And Elena was transgender, but during that time, she was not out yet. And I really related to Elena so much. She's actually one of the people who inspired me to do this today. Elena was the first representation of myself, and she was the first person who I really related to. And when she came out as trans when I was in, I want to say 9th grade, I looked at her and I saw myself, and that was really scary for me because I didn't want to see myself. If I could live the life of a gay man or just as a straight man, I would literally be the happiest person in the world, because some of the hate that I get is so depressing and sad to see. I would never choose to be this way because I feel so trapped sometimes. And I feel like there's no escape to it. And it's so scary to be in this position. And if you know, then you know. And if you don't, then I guess you'll never truly understand. But just think of it this way. Think of your biggest insecurity and constantly just trying to hide it. Say you have a huge, like a really big pimple on your face, and you're just putting foundation on it, putting more foundation on it to try to hold it, to try to cover it up from the world. That's what I was doing with myself because I was so uncomfortable with who I was. I felt like I had to be somebody else. And that was me in 8th and ninth grade. That was when I was dressing masculine and portraying myself as this macho man that I clearly was not. And it showed. Everybody they knew that wasn't who I was, and they gave me a side eye because they knew that I wasn't being who I was. I guess as I grew up, I realized that this is who I am, and I'm not going to hold back anymore, because if I keep doing that, then my viewpoint on it is that I have one life in this world. One life to represent myself to the best of my ability. And if I'm pretending to be somebody else for a majority of my life, then I'm never going to be satisfied with myself. When I go to my deathbed, I'm not going to feel like I fulfilled what I was here to do. Because I'll be honest, it really has affected my self-esteem. I cringe. A part of me, gets a huge pang when people, call me Jerry, or when people say him or his, or when they say, that's my nephew, or that's my grandson, or that's my son. It truly does affect me, and obviously it's not intentional. People aren't trying to hurt me. So that was pretty much my history around being transgender, and I'm sorry if I didn't explain it in the way that you guys were expecting me to, or if I didn't get everything out there. I'm pretty much just in shambles right now, and I'm not really sure what to say. So showcasing myself as a woman is not new to me. I've been doing it for around a year now, pretty much hiding it, and only kind of revealing it to my friends. When I look like this is when I feel the most comfortable with myself. And when I'm being 100% honest with myself and saying, hey, I am a woman, and I look in the mirror and I say, damn, I look pretty good today. That is when I feel most comfortable with myself, and that is when I feel happy. Any other time, I don't feel happy with myself. In fact, I feel very depressed. Let's talk about my name and my pronouns. So a lot of my coworkers especially ask me what my pronouns are, and I've always said, I don't care. Call me what you want. I'm not really a they, them sort of person. I don't really, if you do that, do you, do what makes you happy. I personally don't fully understand it, but I'm very accepting towards it. But I would say just call me whatever you want. So now, it is time to put a rest to that. I officially want to go by her and she, if it is possible in your hearts to do that. I know it's going to take time, and I know it is going to take a lot of muscle memory, because obviously you're used to calling me him. But now I go by her and she, okay? And I know it's going to take a lot of practice, and obviously if you slip up, I'm not going to yell at you like some people will. And I will just politely correct you. But that being said, if it is 5 years down the line and we're still not getting it, you're gonna get... We will be addressing it, okay? And if you're doing it in a condescending way, it will be addressed. So I just want to say that first. Secondly, the name that I picked for myself, because it's the name that I feel comfortable with, is Rain. At first I was going to go by Winter, and I just didn't think it fit me really. I don't really like bland, like not bland names, but like names that are pretty common. So I wanted to find a good balance, and I thought Rain was pretty because like it could be used as Raina, it could be like Rain, like Rain, but the way I'm spelling it is the way that I've put it in my usernames for years. So Rain is my name. For now, at least, and I hope that it stays that way. But Rain is the name that I will be going by. And I think even more than the pronouns, this is going to be the one that really trips people up. I have not yet found a middle name, so if you guys want to like comment some middle names or I don't know, just help me. But yeah, Rain is my first name. And the way I came up with that name was when I was in around 8th or ninth grade. Rain was the name that I chose to put in front of Jerry. So my handles have always been Rain Jerry for around 5 years now. And as time went on, people who didn't know that I was transgender have always said, oh, is your name Rain or Jerry? And I've always wanted to say Rain, but obviously I would say Jerry. There's been some people who haven't asked me and just called me Rain, and I've always been okay with it. And so I feel like Rain is the name that I'm most comfortable with. It is the name that I've been living with for a long time now to some people. So it's nothing like new to me. It's not something that I need to get adjusted to. It's something that I can just jump right in and feel comfortable with. Now for my family and friends, obviously that's another story, but that would be the same thing for any name that I chose. So, yeah, we already have a girl Jerry in the family, so Jerry Ann, I love you, girl. You can keep that name, you know. Now it's gonna not be that confusing when we're at family reunions and people are saying Jerry left and right. And I have to turn around and be like, oh, which Jerry are you addressing? Then it turns out they're addressing that Jerry. I asked my best friend actually to send me questions on, like, things that she has wondered. But she's in Arizona right now, and she did not ask me any questions, despite saying she would send me some. So I'm going to be picking some questions that I have got from the past couple of years from, you know, close friends who I've confided in or family members, and basically explain it. The first being how my relationships will work. I want to address this because I feel like not only is this for family and friends, but this is for guys who I've talked to. Liking me does not make you gay. And I know that you're all thinking it. Let's be real. But liking a transgender woman does not make you gay. Anyways, the second question was, how do I feel about people who basically give us a bad name as trans people? There's these people who started on this social media platform called Tumblr, and I want to say that they like to use people, they like to use transgender people as a way of being unique or edgy or cool. And honestly, I do not, I don't like it at all. I think it's very disrespectful. So yeah, that's how I feel about it, and sue me if you don't like my opinion. I'm sorry, like, I'm at the point where I don't care anymore. Basically, the main questions they had were, number one, am I getting surgery? Am I on hormones? Can I legally change my name? First one, am I on hormones? No, I'm not. I would like to get on hormones. And if you have any other information that you would like to know about being transgender, I would definitely check out Blair White, because she is 100% honest. And I totally agree with her when I say that if you are not 100% sure about yourself and whether or not you're transgender, do not go on hormones. Hormones sterilize the body. It's a very, very scary thing. And I would never, ever allow my child to go on hormones because you cannot reproduce after you go on hormones. It sterilizes your body. You are taking the testosterone or estrogen, whichever one you were born with. You're essentially blocking it and putting the new hormone into your body, which means for transgender women, you will get a higher voice. Your bones will not reshape, and I think that's the number one misconception, is that your bones like magically reshape. No, but the fat will go to the right places, if that makes sense. The muscles will go to the right places, so you will be given a more luscious figure. Your face will fill out a little bit more. And I must say I'm very happy with where I am now, but hormones would definitely be a next step for me. And it requires a lot of paperwork, and psychologist visits are also a requirement for it. But I know a lot of people who have been on hormones and they said that they would never go back. Second off, surgeries. I do plan on getting surgeries in the future. And something really great about the job that I work for, which is Starbucks, the corporation actually provides transgender surgeries. They have like a plan for it, so I'm actually going to look into that down the line to see if it's something that I would be interested in, and if not, then I will save up money for it. Now, the surgeries can be extremely pricey, extremely expensive, but again, I am willing to take that risk to be comfortable with myself. And there's so much more that goes into it. There's some things that I might not want to get changed. There are some things that I might want to get changed. And that is ultimately up to me, and that is nobody's business until the time comes and I'm comfortable with sharing it. So, and yeah, like I said, hormones do fill out a figure, and they do, feminize stuff, but at the end of the day, they can only do so much. Can I legally change my name to Rain? And yes, you can. I actually know a few people who have legally changed their name. They said it is a long process, a lot of paperwork. I personally don't know how to start, and I will be contacting those people for help, but I can and do have the option to legally change my name to Rain, and that is what I plan on doing when the time comes. So that was basically the questions that they had. Any other questions, please, 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 please feel free to either text me if you're a friend or a family member, or comment below, and I will be 100% glad to answer those questions for you to the best of my ability. If not, I will direct you to resources that can explain it better than I can. You may ask yourself, why not just go to therapy to fix myself? And the thing is, no amount of therapy, no amount of talking to is going to convince me otherwise. And at this point, when I've been living like this, and I've been looking like this for as long as I have, going back to what I was would honestly be a transition anyways. So why am I going to put myself through that depression and through being even more uncomfortable with myself to get a product that I'm never going to be happy with, instead of just becoming who I feel like I've always been and being comfortable with myself? And like I said, check out Blair White's YouTube channel because she keeps it 100% real, with no like far left opinion based facts, if you understand what I'm saying. So I think that just trying to understand it for the science before you form an opinion on it will really help you understand it way better. I will be answering everyone to the best of my ability. I know this is a lot to take in. It definitely is for me too. And I'm super surprised I got through this video without shedding one tear. So I'm very proud of myself for that. Pat on the back. But yeah, thank you so much. If you still support me, if you accept me, I love you so much, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. This means the world to me, and the fact that I'm even filming this right now is so surreal. And if you don't accept me and you don't support me and you feel disgusted by me, then leave. I do not care anymore. I don't need people like that in my life moving forward. If you disagree with what I'm doing, feel free to voice your opinion. I understand it is a lot to take in, but at the end of the day, this is not going to change. This isn't a phase for me. I felt this my entire life, and I really made sure 100% that I waited until the right moment for me to say this. And to everybody who's asked me before, am I transgender, and I've said no to, just know that it was nothing personal. It was just me making sure that I was comfortable, and I was not ready at that point to come out about it. And I don't really want to say this video is my coming out video. It's more of a confirmation video, because I feel like a lot of people already knew or had an inkling, and I just want to be open about it now. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Follow my new social media handle at Rain Hinman on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. Actually not Snapchat. My Snapchat is #cry123 because I made it in 6th grade. So anyways, love you all so much. And yeah, I'm still the same person you've always knew. I'm just more fabulous. Okay. Thank you so much. I love you. Bye.